Welcome to another episode of the Liberty Leaders Podcast. My name is Mike Fallett, and I get to interview entrepreneurs and people who are really pushing the limits and going after what they want, building cool things with cool people. So I want to talk to them and hear their stories and lessons. And for anybody listening, I think you're going to take quite a bit from this episode, especially if you are looking to hire that next great hire in your company. Our guest is Nina Amaya. She also goes by her married name, which is Nina Emery, and she owns two major businesses. I think at least two. One is a cleaning business called a Diamond in the Rough, and the other one is ADR staffing and recruiting. So she helps people hire individuals all over the country. And it's an honor to have Nina with us. Nina, thanks so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we've been working together for quite some time. I know your business
Yes.
quite well, and I never really get to just sit down and ask you point blank questions like today. So let's get right into it.
Okay.
Your business, the cleaning business, has been around for quite some time. You are really focused in, I think, South Carolina and North Carolina. How did that
Yeah.
all come to be?
Um, well, it's a long story. I won't get into all the details, but I will say that partly what I wrote in the book was I was in an abusive relationship, so I left everything behind and cut off all ties with job, with people that I knew at that time who knew him, and I didn't have anything. I had nothing but my son, my car, and a friend that let me stay there who he didn't know. And I started this business. And I didn't have a lot of money because, it is what it is. But I used my credit card to start making ads back when you used to have to do classified ads. And my business grew from there. I was a trainer part-time at a gym. I would go in at 4:30 in the morning and work till about 9:30, and then I would go clean houses or offices the rest of the day. Didn't sleep very much. Sometimes I'd fall asleep at traffic lights, but I did what I did to get it going for a few years,
Wow.
and
So
it grew.
where
It
are you at
grew.
now? How many either clients, employees? Where are you at?
Okay, for cleaning, I probably have a couple of hundred customers right now. Staff, I have about 30.
Wow.
Yeah. And so it's grown from me being the cleaner to, and it's been up and down over the years, but I have transitioned a lot, when things happen, I would change, because if you don't change when things happen, you're not going to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard
And
a
that's
great
what I
quote.
did.
I heard, you know, um, there was a great quote by Alan Watts. Are you an Alan Watts fan?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was just listening to him recently. He says, sometimes when you're broken down, it's actually you being broken open.
Mhm.
And, all these devastating things or downturns basically open something up in your mind or in your life that is exactly what you need. And sometimes the downturns sound sad to even say, but sometimes the downturns are necessary for you to actually pivot and you wouldn't pivot otherwise. So seems like maybe you
Yeah.
went from a lot of residential to commercial. Is that right?
I do probably 60/40 commercial to residential.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. And you
Yeah.
started off as residential though, right?
I did both. I did whatever I could find. And there was nothing I didn't know how to do. Of course, I didn't know how to do it. I figured it out. And I figured things out along the way as I grew.
How did you
If a
get those?
customer asked
Like,
me something.
I think a lot of people who listen to this podcast are maybe in the early stages, or maybe they're at a certain metric where they just can't get over. How did you find those first clients? Like, was it all relationships? Was it all knocking on doors and just doing anything and everything you possibly can? How did you get them?
Mainly classified ads to begin with. And then I got a lot of referrals because I'm a perfectionist. So whenever I would, and I'm one of those driven people that no matter what I do, I have to be the best. And I'm just like that. I can't explain it. I always want to be the best. So I did the best. Whatever I did, I would be on time, I would give them a 30-minute leeway. I would be within that 30 minutes, do my job. I did it efficiently, hardly ever got a complaint. And then they started referring other people. So it kind of took off from that. And then, about 2006, I built a website and and went from there and grew from there.
Nice. And
Yeah.
so you obviously have perfected or really dialed in your hiring techniques. When you first
Mhm.
started hiring people, I'm assuming you made a ton of mistakes, but what is the one thing that you really took from those early days of maybe scaling your own systems or what you ran into early on going from just you to 30 employees?
Okay. So actually, you have to go back further in my career. When I first started hiring, I was actually working for a retail company. I got hired after college. I got hired as assistant manager. The manager quit 2 weeks after I left. I got thrown I got thrown into a position that I had no clue about, but I'm good at improvising. So I called the company and told them that we were short staffed. We need employees. What do I need to do? And so they told me back then, this is like 1990, you had to run a classified ad. So I ran ads to hire people. And only thing I knew was I was hiring people that kind of had similar interests to me and I could get along with. And I never had a problem. So what that's called is core values. But I didn't know at the time that that's what it was because they don't teach you stuff like that in college. You know, I think to me, college is a waste of time because everything that I learned pretty much as far as business goes, I learned on my own and the hard way. And then I learned from people that were ahead of me.
Hmm.
But that's what I did. And I did really well with the hires because no matter where I went, wherever I hired, the people would stay with me the length of time and I didn't have any issues. I didn't have any issues until I opened my own company. So the first person I hired that worked for me, I think it was around, so I've been 25 years in business. So this was probably around 2004 or five when I finally started hiring. I hired a girl I actually worked with at the gym. She worked in the daycare at the gym that I was a trainer at. And so I knew her and I got along well with her, and so I hired her. I was very nervous though because it was for me. Like I've been doing everything myself. And so I was like, okay, I need help because I can't do all these houses myself and the businesses too because I'm growing. So I hired her. She was a great hire. She did wonderful. And people I hired after that, they all did wonderful. I made my mistakes. I go into those. I'm a very intuitive person. If you don't know personality types, which I think you do, Mike, I'm an ENTJ, which means I have that intuitive part. My logical thinking is my first, and my intuitive is my second. So I'm very intuitive about people. Where I made mistakes were I would hire people because they would tell me I would feel sorry for them. And that's like the worst mistake you can make. Inside my body is screaming, do not hire this person. They're going to be bad. I know they're going to be bad, but you see they're struggling. They got kids. You're trying to help them. And they're the very ones that'll stab you in the back. And that happened every single time. I did it probably 5 times in the 25 years that I've been in business, regretted it every time. But every time I hired people that I would do the interviews. I was like, this person's going to be really good. They were good every single time. And I even hired people that I got started in their own business. Like my best friend now, he's Robinson. I got him started in the cleaning business. Another good friend, Jonathan, I got him started in his own window cleaning business because I had started a window cleaning business in 2008. Now I contract him. So
Wow.
and I still work with Robinson. We kind of like if he's short staffed, I kind of help fill in for staff for him. And if he needs if I need help, like I have an extra house, a customers want extra cleaning or something. I'm like, hey Robinson, can you do this for me? And I just let him make the payoff of it. Keeps the schedule running good. So, I have learned a lot, a lot of lessons over the years, but
So anybody out
uh,
there listening, you need to take those personality tests seriously, right? And give them to individuals who want to join your team and listen to logic rather than that heartstrings that are being pulled on in every interview. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, because my feelings is usually it's introverted. When you're a extroverted thinker like I am, the feelings are more introvert. So when somebody would pull at that at me, and then I have that deep empathy, like, oh man, they're struggling, they got kids, their car is, whatever. And I would go out of my way. I like to help people. So I would actually go out of my way to help this person, and they would stab me in the back. Now, I'm not saying every employee that I have helped over the years stabbed me in the back, because it didn't happen that way. Because the employees I hire that stay with me are good employees. If they're struggling, something comes up, of course I'm going to help them, because they're legitimately hurting. They didn't cause it. Things happen. Or maybe they did. I mean, they're good people, and they stay with me and they work hard. I don't like to help people who don't try. Because if
Got it.
you're not out there, but I can look at my own struggles and look at where I came from, and I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could get out there in my Camaro. I had a 99 Camaro when I started this business. Can you imagine putting cleaning supplies and vacuums and stuff? I made it work. I did what I had to do. I mean, I was almost homeless at that time. I'm thinking, I'm like, why would I hire anybody who's not willing to try?
Yep.
If I was willing to go and do all that I did, I'm not saying everybody has to be an entrepreneur, but dang, man, I busted my butt. I was working 16 hours a day, cleaning, doing and going and making it happen. And if you can't work 8 hours or 6 hours, then you're complaining or doing, I mean, why would I hire somebody like that?
Yeah.
No. You want somebody who's gonna be out there doing their job, making it happen. It's the kind of
Yeah.
people you want.
So
Core values.
you now get to you have a staffing agency and
Yes.
you get to teach people on how to hire the next best
Hmm.
person for their company.
Hmm. Yeah.
What's the biggest mistake that other companies are making when it comes to staff? Well, are they just taking anybody? Are they
Warm bodies,
yeah.
warm body hire. Whenever I staff, I have a lot of the big companies, a lot of retirement communities we staff for. I'm not going to mention any names, but they want my employees. So I bring my employees and I let them go work there. They fill in for staff. The people in the communities love my employees. They're like the best. They always get compliments. They get these awards, and they're my staff. And then as time progresses, the HR department, because they're big corporate, uh, they have their little rules, and so they let my employees go. They bring in their warm bodies. Within 2 to 3 weeks, they're calling me back. Nina, can you bring back so and so to come back and work? And I'm like, I can't do any, they're already at another job. So I run into that issue a lot. I like working with smaller companies because I can actually teach them how to do it, or I can help manage it for them. Working with some of these big corporates that have the stockholders and stuff, it's really difficult for me to, because I can't tell them what to do. They're controlled by somebody else. Only thing I could do is fill in for staff for them and do the best I can.
Got
But
it.
my employees always end up staying there as long as they need them, until they let them go, and then they regret letting them go, and then they call them back. So, but with the smaller companies now, I can teach. I can show them what I do. The best, I think, one of the big mistakes which companies need to especially small companies, even the bigger companies probably should do this, but it's called group interviews. I started doing that probably 10 years ago, maybe. It's a great way to
I love
see the
that idea. I
personality.
love that. We even maybe applied something similar to that when we hire virtual assistants, group interviews. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah. Group interviews, what you do, when you go into a group interview, you're not just asking them job. You don't do any of that. You make it so comfortable, so relaxed, like they're at home or you're just out hanging out with friends. You do 4 to 6 people, no more than six, 4 to 6 people. You have, I have them go, we go to a place, it's called the Dowd Y. It's uptown, but they have this big area and they're used to seeing my face there. But they have this big area and they got tables and you can have snacks. You can go buy snacks and water or drinks or whatever. And you can I can set up at one of those places. It's very relaxed. And the people I have them meet me there and I have my questions. My questions are all situational based. It's nothing outside of that. It has nothing to do with their job history, none of that, because I don't care. What you want to do is, especially, well, I think any job, you should hire personality first before skills, especially this. Skills don't matter in the service business. But I mean, they do matter in other things, but personality, I think, should always come first because if they don't connect with who you are, what you stand for, it's not going to work. Or you're
Not
hired.
enough keeps their heart in it for the long run,
Hmm.
for
Yeah.
the dark days, right?
Yep. Yep. So that's what I do. I ask situational questions. I and on top of that, you have the situational questions that you bring in, and then you see how they interact with each other. You can see personality from that. If I listen to a lot of Chris Voss, so I can tell
Love
pretty
Chris
much when
Voss stuff.
somebody's lying. I've learned, and I listen to other hostage negotiators or have been who have been hostage negotiators, and I learn strategic things about how you can tell if somebody's lying or not. A lot of these questions that I ask, it's really difficult to lie because they're personality based questions, and I let people know there's no right or wrong answers. So I might say, Christine, like I'm asking Christine a question, and I would look at her and I would like, so Christine, if you're on a job, let's say you're cleaning a house and you're with another team member and you see them pick up something and put it in your pocket, what would be your first reaction to do? And then I would just listen. And, it's according to how she looks. And I can tell if she's trying to make up something or if she's actually pulling uh, from her own background or something that's happened in the past or being honest, about what she's saying. That's what I do. I ask situational questions about their kids, about family stuff. I don't go in and ask questions what they do in their family, but I ask those kind of questions, how they would react. What would you do if somebody was yelling at you when you were driving? How would you react? Certain things like that. You get to know their personalities. And because I've done so much research on personality types and attachment styles, usually I can kind of get pretty close on what their personality types are just by listening to how they talk.
It's great.
That's very helpful. Yeah.
Nice. I love the group interviews. You talk about like culture, and I've
Hmm.
realized I struggled with finding people because I would find people from all different backgrounds, different beliefs, all that. I'd put them in a room, and it was just like 10 different people working together. But once I found an individual and this is an individual from the Philippines, who was hiring other people that she has worked with and had similar beliefs and all that. It was almost like a culture was born automatically. And I think that culture keeps people like in the same boat longer, wanting to row faster and stronger and
Hmm.
a little bit easier for them to want to be on a team. But if it's 15 different people that have nothing in common with each other, then there's no emotional want to even be
Yeah.
there outside of the money. And guess what? That will only keep them there for so long.
That's what I explain that to other clients that I work with because they're so focused on the money. And I was like, I'm telling you, that's important, but that's not the most important thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have employees that stay with me 10 and 12 years in a cleaning business, in a
Right.
cleaning business. And still, the ones who don't work for me anymore stay in contact with me and ask if I have anything on the side or at night for them to do. So you tell me, am I doing something wrong? I don't think so.
Right.
I don't think so.
Man. And so you put all these tips into your book, best-selling book
Mhm.
that was out, I think, a year and a half, 2 years ago. What was it?
Came
Somewhere.
out last January,
Yeah.
last year,
So
25.
uh this book is on Amazon. Obviously, you guys can go check it out. And I mean, it seems like even right now you're running ads for people to download the book. What have you heard from
Yeah.
people who actually got the book?
A lot of good things. I've had clients get buy my book, like client that we clean for that bought my book. I've had my nail salon people buy my book. And then they asked me questions. They were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so easy to read because I made it easy to read." Before I even met you, Mike, back when you were publishing, I was writing that book. I was already putting everything together, and now I'm working on my second book, which has to do more with personality types and attachment styles and how they affect the workplace. But that's going to take me a while because I really have to know my stuff whenever I start talking to people about this.
Yep.
But yeah, people ask me questions all the time. They like I went to I have a massage therapist and she does facials and stuff. And we were doing a facial one day. She was like, "Nina, I read your book." And she runs her own salon and she started asking me, different things about the group interviews and how I was able to keep all these employees for all these years. And so we started going into detail because she's, doing my facial and I had time to talk with her. But yeah, people ask me questions like that all the time.
Hmm.
It's pretty wild. I love it there. I mean, that's why I wrote it, to help people, to help small business. And I've gotten some work out of it. Gary, who I've been staffing for about a year and a half now. He's a pressure washing company, and I've got 3 people staffed with him and working on building his business to where he can get more. All the staff he has, the 3 people that is working for him are my people. So, and with a new company that I just started working with, I signed a contract with them. We're going to start out with 10 employees and gradually, hopefully, build up to different locations from Asheville to Florida that I'm going to be not staffing for. I'm going to be hiring for him, but I'm going to be in charge of all of his HR.
Wow.
So we're working on how to, since it's something new that I started doing, it's not that I can't do it. We just got to get it, niched and figured out as far as figures and percentages and how it's going to work with me being over his HR because I'm used to them being my employees, not somebody else's that I'm in charge of. So it's kind of a new territory for me, but it's something I definitely could do.
It's awesome. Yeah, maybe this is something you can attest to also, but what I realized is I used to think that I was always just building businesses. In order
Mhm.
to build businesses, I mean, it's always like, all right, dollars and cents, and what's the product, what's the service? I realized at a certain point, in order for me to actually grow and not have to give up all my time for this one business, I had to hire people and train them to some degree, but also help build them into a leader.
Yeah.
Would you agree that like this is called the Liberty
Mhm.
Leaders podcast? Because I don't know, maybe we're all trying to become better leaders, but our job as leaders is to actually help other people become leaders. Therefore, it kind of, you know, makes it so this business that you're building is scalable. Do you agree that maybe some of the key characteristics of the great entrepreneurs out there is that they can really develop leaders within the community, within their own business or organization?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, I've done it before. I've even got people started in their own business
Yeah.
from working for me because I saw that potential in them. But it's according to how far up they want to go. Some people just like interacting with clients and then they can become team leaders. They like interacting with the other employees. Now you got somebody who's more introverted, they're going to be if they're seeing a client every week, they're going to be probably better at working one-on-one with the clients because they become more personal. You got somebody extroverted like me, we're going to be like all over the place, like wanting to talk to everybody.
Yeah,
And
you're a
you're like
people's
that too,
person.
Mike.
Yep.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely a people's person. I've been that way since I was born. But I try to look for those things in people, where I'm going to put them and where I will staff them, when I hire them. And you kind of, it's a little bit more difficult when you're working with another company and staffing to where they're going to put them. But if they're directly working for me, cleaning or whatever, then I can determine that myself. But then I can also ask the employee, how comfortable are you working here? How's everything going? I try to have that communication open with them. If there's any problem, I'll leave the door open for my employees to always be able to contact me because I never condemn them for asking questions. There should always be, oh, well, this is happening, that's happening. What should I do? Do I need to talk to you, or do I need to talk to so and so? I leave that door open.
Well, something, and this is just a selfish question, and I think a lot of other people will probably care about these too, but when you start growing a team, how often do you meet with them? I'm a once a week guy for most of my team, once a week. And then every once in a while, maybe every 2 to 3 times a week, if it's somebody who is really close at,
Yeah.
taking things off my plate. So maybe like a virtual assistant, if not somebody like that. What do you recommend to anybody out there building a
It's
business? Weekly meetings, bi-weekly, every day? What do you think?
For me, it's a little difficult because my employees all have different shifts. And sometimes it's like once a month, but I can't meet with everybody once a month. I can't. And the big thing for us is we try to have big events like at Christmas. That's helpful. And but for me, as far as the cleaning service, it's kind of difficult just because sometimes the cleaners also have other jobs, like they work part-time somewhere else. Because I don't like to overwork my employees. I try to keep the hours at like maybe 3 to 4 days a week
Mm.
because it's labor. It's not something like if I'm doing it, yeah, I can go out and knock out a bunch of houses a day because physically I'm able to do that, but not everybody is physically able to
It
do
beats
that.
you up,
I'm not
right?
saying,
And you're looking for longevity, not for once every, you're not looking for somebody for a quarter out of the year. You want
yeah,
longevity, 3 to 4 days a
yeah,
week, hard labor, basically, right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, you're cleaning people's houses, you're moving things around, you're on your hands and knees, you're up and down. And I mean, I, I'm a very physical person anyway, so yeah, I can do that. I don't expect my employees to do what I do. And I can clean a house probably faster than anybody, but how many houses can I clean? I'm not doing that. I'm going to be fair to my employees as far as that goes, and I'm not going to work them to death. That's what I offer. Whenever I do the job ads, I make it very specific, saying it's about this many hours a day, usually up to 30, 25 to 30 hours a week. I don't like to work people past 33 because it's physical, and that's for somebody looking for that kind of job. Now, with the staffing, it's different. Staffing is totally different because I don't control those hours. It's not up to me. With my business, it is. I can do whatever I want to because it's mine.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell me what to do with it. But that's what I would tell a small business to do.
Eh,
That's exactly what I would tell.
well, this is my last question for you. This is something I struggle with. You said it just right there. Everybody who's an entrepreneur struggles with finding people because they automatically assume I am the best at the job. Nobody's ever going to beat me, so it's going to be
Mhm.
impossible to find other individuals. I now say, well, then you built the business poorly if you need to be at that level working nonstop. It's unrealistic. So you need
Or
to
you're an
find.
ISTJ.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, there's that too. But how do you help people overcome that? Did you struggle with it? Because it took me a while. I realized, you know what? You just said it. How many people, like, if can you hire? You can build it in the aggregate. You can find people who maybe don't clean as fast as you, but you can only clean so many houses. So when it comes to scalability, you need to build this in a way that you don't need to have everybody clean as fast as you. You just need that consistency, the longevity. And if you do it at scale, 5 workers will destroy you as one person,
Mhm.
hands down. And once I realized that, I
Yeah,
was like, oh, I just need to build a business with
it's
that in
like
mind.
light bulb.
Yeah.
Yep, the light bulb goes off. I thinking back, whenever I first made my first hire, I did have to take a deep breath, but you have to look at it from my perspective too. I had always been hiring since I graduated from college. So I was used to it. It wasn't that difficult. Even though I did have to take that first deep breath. It's like they're representing me. This is my business now. It's not somebody else's. But I kept that in mind, but I did it anyway. I was like, there's no way I'm going to grow because I had that growth. My mind, I had a mindset like I want to grow. I want to make this business bigger. Not everybody around me liked my plan, to tell you, in my family. I mean, that's a different subject, but that's what I wanted. So I did what I wanted, you know.
You're a rebel. That's what you have to have. To be an entrepreneur, you have to have that rebel instinct, no doubt.
I'm very rebellious. I'm a black sheep, so
Well, I
it
mean,
is
you're
what it is.
driving around in Camaros. You are a fitness guru also. I mean, you still do training
Mhm.
for competitions and everything, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, I
not
work
a
out five
yeah.
to 6 days a week. I'm in the gym usually hour and a half to 2 hours a time, weight training, athletic conditioning. Yeah, I have three gym memberships and I work out with sometimes I'll work out with other people who are like bodybuilders and power lifters too. Usually guys, I it unless I find a female that will is on the same level as me. But and for some reason, I typically have guy friends, but I think it's because I grew up with guys and I have that logical thinking brain too, which makes me my best friends when I was growing up were guys, always, and even to this day, my best friend's a guy. So I have that tendency, but not that I can't get along with females. It's just I have more in common. But so that's why I work out with guys, because they know exactly what I'm looking for for a workout partner, if I need spot or whatever. But yeah, that I'm probably at some point I probably want to own a gym. I almost started to buy a gym, but it was not what I wanted because it was what do you call it? It was under somebody else's name, and I don't want that. A franchise. And
Oh, I can't do yeah. Sometimes I mean there's you then you're handcuffed. Some people it
mm-mm,
fits for, right? I know
it's
it
not
fits
me.
well, but you know your personality and knowing yourself is basically it's crazy to say. It's like knowing yourself is really half the battle. You can choose a lot of bad decisions, make a lot of bad decisions if you don't know yourself fully. And knowing that
Exactly.
that would kill you, that's huge because some people don't even know that. They get into it and then they're locked in for a long time.
Yeah. And when I read everything, because they gave me all the papers, I read it. I had talked with him, interviewed with him, and I read it. I was like, heck no. There is no way I am going to let somebody else tell me what to do. Nah, no, I
Yeah.
have my own plan. No, if I open a gym, it'll be on my own.
Nice. I could see you owning one someday, just so you know. But all right, guys, check out her book. It is called The Employee Whisperer: Mastering the Art of Hiring, Managing, and Retaining Top Talent. And she has a staffing and recruiting agency. So if you're out there and you maybe need some people or you just need some help in actually hiring individuals, reach out to Nina Amaya. She's all over Instagram, Facebook, all that. The website, workforcewhisperer.com, right?
I believe so.
Workforcewhisperer.com.
Yeah,
Yeah, let me just double check that is it. Workforce, yes. Workforcewhisperer.com. And guys, she also has a cleaning business. So, what's great about cleaning businesses? I think what's great is number one, the relationships, but number two, recurring revenue. If there's anything to learn from this, build a business with a recurring revenue built in and it's scalable. She can find individuals out there and put food on their plate because, once you get people in, you build a community, build a culture, and you get to help them build their life within your organization. So I think it's an awesome business. I believe if I were to start all over, I mean, I think that there's something about cleaning businesses that it's always, no matter what, economy crashes, corporations are always going to need cleaning. There's no doubt about it. I was a janitor for about a year and a half, 2 years in 2011, just to keep lights on in my apartment. And
right.
I was in the cleaning business, and I realized no matter how crazy the world gets, these big businesses, these office buildings always need cleaners. So great business
Yeah.
you got into. I don't know if you knew that going into it, but it is an awesome business to be a part of, I'm assuming.
Well, just to throw this in, I worked part-time. When I was a single mom, I worked 3 jobs. I worked as a manager of retail and then insurance. I did insurance too, but I worked part-time for years cleaning offices, and I did lawn care on the side when I had time.
Oh my God.
Single
Multiple
mom,
jobs.
you
Yeah.
did what you had to.
No
Yeah,
wonder
I
your
did.
work ethic hasn't really slowed down. You've been
Mm-mm.
doing crazy stuff since the get-go.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
So multiple businesses. I think that's another key to the success, to staying alive, right? You see
Yeah,
opportunities, you take all these skill sets, it doesn't just go to waste. You apply it to some other business and you start building this portfolio. And if there's a bad downturn in one business, the other business keps you alive.
exactly.
I see how
I
that they
learned
play off
that.
each other.
I learned that 2008. I I had to pivot, started the window clean business, then you know, let Jonathan take that over, and I don't want to do that anymore. But yeah, you pivot where you need to pivot. You you don't ever say to me, and this is just me, I don't ever say I can't do something. I don't ever say I don't offer that service. I look at it and say, is this something that we can do?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yep. And to touch on that, I used to think, oh my God, if I could just sell one thing, well, that limits you. And maybe down the road you eventually can only offer one thing. But in the
hmm
beginning, in the first couple years, having multiple solutions for anybody and doing whatever you can to keep people happy is necessary. But once again, it's not just within one business. If you spot an opportunity where you can have a staffing or recruiting agency and it doesn't take up time from from your life or with your kids or whatever, your passions,
hmm
and you're like, I can make that work because I see a need for it. Why not? Because that is something that will grow the more you focus on it down the road. So
That's exactly what happened. That's how I started the staffing and recruiting. It started from the cleaning business. So I was like, I'm going to just start another business doing this. And that's what I did.
the entrepreneur
So,
mentality, it never
yep,
ends. You always have new ideas. So
yep,
well, Nina,
exactly.
I love working with you and your team, and it seems like there's been a lot of success in the past couple months with what I've seen within your business. So your ability
Yeah.
to build relationships is the key. What I've noticed. So guys, anybody listening out there, build relationships. It's almost as if like the more relationships you have, it's not just about the people you know, but who knows you and who trusts you. So whenever the
hmm
problem becomes big enough, they think of you first. And that's what I see what's
Yeah.
happening with you. So Nina,
Yeah.
Maya, honored to work with you. The book, the business, everything's looking good. So it's fun to talk politics with you, talk liberty with you, and
Yeah.
can't wait for the podcast tomorrow with Candace and Andrew Wilson. I guess you and I will be talking afterwards, huh?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. I'm
All
sure. Not with
righty.
other people there.
Not with other people. You're right. Nina, thanks so much for your time today. I
All
know you're
right.
busy. We appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
You're
Thank
right.
you.
All right, guys. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's what it's all about. We'll see you next time.
Agree. All right.